good.
Do you have a quorum?
We
No.
don't.
We do not.
Okay, well, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to call the January 2026 meeting of our Advisory Library Board. We have a special guest here. We have City Manager Dana Hardy, City of Victoria. Could we just have the board members, the folks at the table, introduce themselves to you? So I'm Ern Bodvarsen. I'm the secretary to the board, and I'm standing in for our president, Stacy Lindquist, who can't be here today. So very nice to meet you and welcome.
I'm Wendy Eggers, and I'm representing Jan and Victoria.
I'm Sarah Duffy, and I'm the student representative.
Kevin Spencer, the branch manager of Chaska.
And Jody Edstrom, library director. Yes. Thank you for having me, everyone.
It's our pleasure, and they're pretty early in the agenda. We'll have you give some remarks, which we look very much forward to. So the situation today is that the president, Stacy Lindquist, is not here. So one of my responsibilities as the secretary of the board is to stand in for the president, which is why I'm running today's meeting. We also do not have a quorum, and there are several reasons for that. One is that Stacy is not here, but I just learned that Charles Tay chose not to go forward with a third term. I think he decided after 6 years that he needed to take a break. So we currently have a vacancy on the advisory board. Also, technically, our student representative, Sarah, is on a year-by-year renewal, arrangement, and officially you're not renewed yet. I mean, I think we're all delighted you want to continue with us. You just need to be ratified, and that's going to happen. So happy you're here. Happy you're here. So as a result of there being no quorum, we cannot vote on any action items today. So today's meeting is purely informational. Do you know if the vacancy on the board that has come up will be filled perhaps by the time of our next board meeting?
It sounds very much that way. Okay. There are actually 2 vacancies as it stands, because we've had a vacancy out in the district for Waconia and Watertown as well.
Right.
So it sounds like the board is intending to make appointments at the January 27th meeting.
Okay.
And there are, I should say, applications that they are currently reviewing for both of those positions.
Okay, excellent.
So, as well as Sarah's re-application.
Okay.
So.
Well, then we look forward to having a fully stocked board at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So you all have been given the agenda. We cannot vote to approve today's agenda, but I trust that everyone is comfortable with the agenda. Would anyone like to make any comments about the agenda today? Okay, for the record. All right. Then the minutes from our last meeting held on November 18 were also included in your packet. We cannot vote to approve those minutes today. I found a few places where some editorial changes need to be made, and I'll just share those with Margot. Margot is the person who always takes our notes, takes our minutes. So there wasn't anything that bounced out of the minutes, which I think need to be discussed, but we will approve the minutes as well as approve the agenda for today's meeting at next month's meeting. Okay, so as is always the custom, we invite and welcome members of the public to attend our board meetings, and there is a time window in our meetings where we allow the public to speak, and we have one member of the public who needs no introduction, Jim. Thank you for coming, Jim. Is there anything that you'd like to say today during this quote-unquote public commentary period?
No, I think I'll pass.
Okay. All right. This is your chance.
Going once.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So at this time, I'll Yes.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yes, at
Yes.
at this time, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can introduce our guest, Jody.
Sure, and actually ahead of introducing Dana, I have a couple of brief public.
Oh, all right, very
ours,
good.
A couple
Yeah.
of public input. One just briefly from Charles, that he just wanted to send his gratitude to all of you for being part of this board and to the staff members. So just had very high regards to share and wanted me to note that to you all. So. And then Patrick has actually, that I thought you would enjoy hearing as well, some public input to share regarding extended access at Victoria. So not to capitalize on your time, but we thought that you might benefit from hearing that. So
I'll be 2 minutes, because you all know how to read. So we did a survey. We sent out 43 surveys about a week ago, and we had a 73% response rate, which is amazing for a survey.
Yeah.
I used to do the surveys for our staff days at Carver, and we'd get like a 20% return rate. So I think that alone tells us something of people enjoying this service. So I just have 3 charts. Number 1, how often do you use it? And we see that the most is 3 to 5 times. There's, again, of our 32 recipients. So I don't think that's any surprise. When you go over to find out why people are using it, is people are not using it to come study that we thought they might be, or come to use the Wi-Fi when their computers aren't working. They're coming to pick up books. 29% of the people come to check out, and 28% of them specifically are getting holds. And then chart number 4, they like us. They really like us. One person, not as much. So 31 greats and 1 goods. And the great is in all of these comments, which I'm not going to bother to read with you because they're all basically the same. I love it. I hope other libraries do this. Thank you for doing this. I find this so convenient. I did some follow-up with some people who wanted to comment more, and their comments were exactly the same, is they just really, really, really like this service.
That's great.
So I just wanted to share
That's
these
great news.
survey results with you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you for sharing.
thanks, Patrick.
So, before I forget, I just wanted to dovetail in something in relation to Charles. Has it been, do you know if it's customary for some type of statement or resolution to be composed and ratified that thanks a board member who's departed?
From what I understand in the past, it's been if they've served all 3 terms.
Okay.
If they've filled all 3 of their terms, then the county board usually acknowledges if they so choose and would like to do so, and then they receive a plaque.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's
Right.
my knowledge to date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it just, I think it'd be nice to thank Charles for his 6 years of service. He's been a wonderful person to have on the board. He's very detail conscious and asks excellent questions, and has been very reliable and very cordial. So, but we can discuss that more offline.
Absolutely.
And loop Stacy into that. It just seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah. Sounds good. Great. Thank you. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to turn it over to
Yes,
Dana,
City
who I asked to
Manager.
come and
Yes.
share all the exciting things that are happening here in the city of Victoria.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I don't have anything formal. I thought maybe just a dialogue and conversation is probably just, we did that last year, and I think that worked really well for people. So feel free to jump in, ask questions. Jim, feel free to jump in and ask questions. And I'll kind of just verbal vomit a whole bunch of stuff at you, and we can stop and take a deeper dive into any one of these items. And if you have other questions or are interested in other things, just let me know. So first of all, I just want to say, from our perspective, from a city perspective, we think this partnership has just been fantastic.
Great.
0 issues. I had an opportunity, so the city managers and the county administrator meet monthly. And this was a topic that came up, and so I was really promoting how excited we were to have this in our community, that our community members love this, and I hope that they will talk about expanding it in the future to other communities, and I would be happy to talk to other communities about it. So, and I think, when do we start this? In September,
September
right?
2nd, yeah.
So it's getting a lot of really great
Yeah.
use, and
43 users and who completed the survey, 110 people who have signed up. No, 150 people signed up, 110 people have gone through the orientation, 43 have actually used it so far.
yeah.
And I sent an email today to everyone who registered but never went through the orientation, reminding them to please sign up for the orientation. So I hope we get 80% of the people who said they wanted to do it, doing it within a year.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it's a really nice service in our community, so kudos to you for rolling this out, and we're happy to be a pilot program for that. So, okay, so I thought what you might most be interested in is just all the different things that are happening in our community. So I briefly wrote down some notes on just maybe some key things I wanted to focus on sharing, and again, feel free to jump in and ask questions. So if you're not aware, we are building a new fire station. And that new fire station is going to be located, if you know where Holy Family is, right on the corner of 18 and Cochia, which is, we purchased 6 acres from Holy Family for that project. And if you drive by there or have driven by there and wonder what's going on, that's our new fire station. So our long-term plan showed that we would have 2 fire stations, and we really did some data digging and mining to figure out, boy, if we didn't have to build 2 fire stations, if we were really strategic about where one facility could go, could that serve our entire community for the next 40 plus years? And we found that one location, and and actually Holy Family approached us and said, we heard you were looking for land. We're looking at potentially selling land, and would you like to purchase that? And it happened to be in the sweet spot that we were looking for. So the stars aligned beautifully for us, and we anticipated or projected that we're saving our community $20+ million in the future by really consolidating into one facility. So if you look at our current fire station, you might think, wow, it looks brand new, it's beautiful. It doesn't need to be, you don't need a new fire station. And if you were to go on the inside of that building is actually about 44 years old. And so we did a facelift in 2016 to the exterior, but the operational aspects is still like walking into the 1980s. So lots have changed in fire service since that time. So if you can imagine, we are prioritizing health and wellness of our firefighters much differently today than we did 40 years ago, and have learned a lot about cancer and all of those other things. So our primary motivation is really making sure we can continue to deliver those services timely, but also make sure we're taking care of our people who are taking care of our community. So that building will be done in hopefully June, so early summer. We're about a month behind. So and I hope you will all come and see it. We will have several community open houses, but you will be able to rent meetings. So if you wanted to hold one of these meetings in our public meeting room space there, you will be able to do that, and we hope you will see that facility.
What's going to be the capacity of that meeting approximately?
200?
Okay, thank you.
Wow. Are you closing the other one down then?
So the other one will be repurposed for other city uses. Right now we're looking, it's got storage, so we're looking at moving our utilities division over there and rolling in some public works storage. So,
Nice.
yeah. So
Is
we'll
it a
continue.
volunteer fire department?
We,
All volunteer?
yeah, so we do, great question. We run what's called a hybrid department. So about 80-90% of our model right now is paid on call, so volunteer, but we do have 3 full-time firefighters. So we have a fire chief, a deputy fire chief, and then a community risk reduction specialist who also does fire inspections for us. And so when we get our new facility, we are planning to have we will still have paid on call, but they'll be able to sign up for what's called duty crew shifts, and they'll be able to sleep overnight, and by signing up for overnight shifts that we'll make available.
Nice.
So we will have that true combination department. So people will be phasing out people responding from their homes, and we'll start phasing in having people respond from the station and being able to stay there.
Nice.
And when we do that, when we do have, it's going to get really warm in here. When we do have people at the station, we knock off 4 minutes of our response time. So if you can imagine in a structure fire, that would be really,
Wow, that's huge.
Makes a big difference.
so that'll turn off in a minute. But otherwise, it's going to cycle really hot, and it'll feel like a sauna, and then it'll get really cold.
I complained about the house.
It's a bizarre system. Okay, so great questions. Any other thing on the fire station? It's exciting for us and our community. Lots happening just in terms of development and changes in Victoria. So if you have driven, like if you're leaving here, or where 10 and 11 meet, if you're going south towards Carver, that intersection looks very different even than it did 6 months ago. So there's a big pile of dirt, there's a lot of tree clearing, there's just a lot of things happening. And so that's what we call our south growth area. And we just approved our first commercial property in that area, and it's going to be a Quick Trip. And so Quick Trip, if you're at the top of the hill, across the railroad tracks, go to the top of the hill, and there's some fencing that's going in that looks pretty nice. That's where the Quick Trip is going to go. And so with that, the clearing that's happening is the developer who is doing the Quick Trip property purchased the additional acres that go all the way down to the intersection of 10 and 11, and that's where our commercial tax base is. And so we anticipate that the clearing that they're doing and kind of getting the pads ready for development, that we're going to be having some more commercial development come through here in the next several months. So that's where some of our bigger things. So if Victoria were to get a grocery store, I would suspect that that's where a grocery store would be looking. We continue to ask for that. That's our top question from every developer that walks through the door. The math is close, but it's not quite there. It's a math equation for them. They say their term is not enough heads in beds. So, but we try. But where a Quick Trip comes, there's usually other development that follows. So we're very excited about that, to see what the future brings there in that portion of our town. Lots happening in our downtown area. You may have heard some chatter about Dairy Queen, and so Dairy Queen has sold, and so a developer bought them, and they are, the developer who bought them is actually the developer that we city have selected to develop what we're calling our Downtown West property. And so all the tree clearing and all the dirt moving that you're seeing that's happening near the Dairy Queen is land that the city currently owns. And we're finalizing, it's 13 acres, we're finalizing what's been a 2-year negotiation process with the developer to redevelop that whole site. If you haven't seen any of the concepts or proposals, they're online on our website. They're really kind of pretty, I will say. I think of it as kind of a mix between kind of an Excelsior vibe with a Door County feel, if you know Door County. And so it's a lot of independent retail operators. The conversations that they're in with 2 different restaurants to anchor the space. There's going to be a public plaza that connects all of the retail and the restaurant space. So you can imagine if you would spill out from the restaurants and the retail into this community space, that we might have like an acoustic guitar there, or you might have bags that you can play. We might program some of that stuff. So it's going to be a really activated space for the community to gather, and is really, really shaping up nicely. We're also looking at the developers looking at building us a community building that they will give back to the city, that we will be able to use for community space, for additional meeting room space, or to hold classes, or that people can just rent for parties, things like that. That's something that's really been missing in our community, so we're very excited about that. And the plaza space stretches throughout the commercial and residential area and will connect directly into the park here, Three Rivers Park. So you'll be able to get on the trail and hit this regional trail, but also get all the way up to Lake Minnetonka, and everything will be connected. So we're very, very excited about the things that are coming, and I'm excited to be able to share more when we can. But that final plat will be coming here if we get things by the end of the week, it'll come on January 26th, along with the purchase agreement. We're getting real close, but if we don't get the lawyers are going back and forth now, so it might bump into February. But I'm very excited to share more, and we spent years just developing that vision with our community, so we're really excited that it reflects what the community wanted. So very excited about that. We also just approved condos, so Mr. Gannon's building that is closed, if that window were open, the garage building that's on the kitty corner from us here, Rich Gannon owns that, and that is going to be torn down and will be redeveloped into commercial space, ground floor commercial, so 6,000 square feet of commercial, and then 2 stories of 10 condo units that will be owner occupied. And so that work will be starting shortly, as soon as the ground thaws. And then you may have heard that there is a hotel that is looking at coming here, so a boutique hotel. So on the green space right behind us where Winchester and Rye is, that would connect to Winchester and Rye and allow them some expansion space, and serve the community. So there's not a lot of hotel options in Carver County, so this being kind of a regional destination for people with all the cool things we have going on here, we're hoping to keep people in our community and in our county. So it's a 45 or 46 unit boutique hotel that it looks and feels very much like Victoria. Will have a very similar feel, brick. They're looking more like an Art Deco-y feel to some of the styling. So really pretty building, and that's going to be coming to sketch plat here yet this month. And so you can learn more about that on our website too. We'll keep updating and adding sketches to that. So that's pretty exciting as well. If you haven't seen our Roars building yet, inside their lobby is beautiful. They did a lot of historical nods to like the downtown roots of our community of Victoria, and that also has first floor retail. So there's a Mexican restaurant that's opening up this spring, Fiesta Mexicana, and then also right next to Vic's, the old Victoria House, which is in the old feed mill building. You might have seen that there's a lot of work happening there. That is going to be a chicken and fish concept, fin and feather. So lots of cool stuff happening here. We've had a lot of new businesses. So The other thing that got approved right next to our current fire station, Hometown Bank will be building a building. Mocha Monkey is coming. They are partnering with the bank, so you will see that. Very similar style and concept to what you see in Carver. And then a medical office is coming, which we don't have, so we're very excited about that. So lots of new things,
Yeah.
lots of changes. Any questions or any rumors that you've heard? Yeah.
What's the population of Victoria now?
Right now, the number that we're using is 12,800. We're probably over 13 though, so. Our census population was 10.5 back in 2020, so.
Yeah, that's changed.
Do you know if this boutique hotel that's coming in is going to be a franchise, or will it be
Nope.
independent?
It will be independent.
Independent concept?
And it is, yep, the developer is also an independent local person.
Okay,
So,
so that's wonderful.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep, with deep Victoria roots, so
Oh,
we're very
that's-
excited about that.
That's distinctive. Yeah.
Yeah. Questions?
Are you planning to annex that church anytime soon? The one on just south of?
Yeah. Potentially. We've got a great relationship with them. So at 10 and 11, it's Westbrook Community Church. We've got a great relationship with them. I think they're open to doing things, and I think it really will depend on the utilities. And ultimately, they run on well and septic right now, and they would like to get connected to city utilities. So once we can make that happen, they probably will get annexed in. So, yeah. Any other questions on development or rumors that you've heard or anything? There's a lot of chatter out there about a lot of different businesses, so. Okay. The other thing that I think I just want to make sure that you're aware is cities, if you don't know, and the county too, every 10 years, the Met Council, so we're in the 7-county metro area, the Met Council requires us to go through a comprehensive planning process. And this is a very heavy lift. So the last round that we did this, Victoria spent about $250,000 to do the comprehensive plan and write it, do the engagement around with it, and implement it. And so this is we're sneaking up on our next cycle, so we're getting ready to kick that off for 2050 we'll be looking at. And so we're looking at things out into our growth areas, so west and southwest of the city, current boundaries on where do our roads, where do they need to go, how do we position them, so we're making sure that we're not, so the property owners can get the most out of their property, right? We're not making their property, putting a road in a place where it'll make their property not developable. We're looking at water and sewer connections, how those things get there. We're thinking about parks. We're thinking about all the environmental initiatives that we want to do. So all of that work is going to be starting here this year and planning for that future growth. And so there'll be lots of opportunities for engagement. And so if this is something that interests you, we would love to have you help us plan for our future growth. And so there'll be many opportunities along the way, so watch for that. The other thing that we're doing this year is kicking off along the way conversations. And so there are mini campaigns where we'll ask very targeted stuff where we kind of want to get not necessarily a statistical response, but the pulse of our community to make sure that we're going in the right direction and that the planning that we're doing is still reflective of the community's values. And the direction that they want to go. So we're planning to release a question every month. So for example, our old public works site just 2 doors down from us, which is serving as our compost site right now for yard waste, recycling. Long-term, that's not going to be the permanent place for that, and we need to figure out what we're going to do with that land. It has some contaminated soils because it sits on an old dump or adjacent to an old dump, and so what can we do with it? And so we will be reaching out to the community in one of those mini outreach along the way conversations to say, here's what we're thinking based on what we've heard. Does this still make sense, or what other ideas do you have that you want us to explore? So it'll be something like that each month. And so those are not just for people who live here, it's people who like Victoria or visit Victoria. So even if you don't live in the community, we would love to hear from you on that. And then we have our community survey, which we do every 4 years, which is a statistically sound survey that we just check in and make sure how are we doing, and then how are we doing benchmark. It gets benchmarked to other communities in the state, but across the nation. So, and then the other thing I just want to mention is we've got our advisory board applications open now for Planning Commission and Senior Advisory Committee and our Park and Recreation Committee. So if you're, I don't know if any of you are residents, but if you're residents or you own a business you could qualify for these boards, or if you know somebody that would be a good fit, please encourage them to apply. That application process closes in February, and then this would be open to everybody. Our Citizens Academy. Are you familiar with our Victoria Academy? Have you heard about this?
No.
Very excited about this. This is open to everyone. And so you might have heard of Citizens Academy. They're really common with policing, and the sheriff's office does one. This will be our 6th year, and we open this up to everybody, and like basically you get a little bit of flavor of our day-to-day, what happens in the city. So you get to go to the water treatment plant, which I can't even get in there with as the city manager without an escort because of Homeland Security things. I mean, I could if I wanted to go through. I have no reason to be there by myself, so so I don't want to go through the hassle of doing that, but it's special. Not everybody gets to go through there. And so to see the water treatment plant, you'll be able to put like a televising pipe down one of our manholes and see what a sewer looks like. We make it really interactive and fun. You get to sit in a plow truck. You get to go through, and we'll start like a little fire over at the fire station, and you'll get to practice using a fire extinguisher to put it out. So we make it really interactive and fun. When we get to budgeting, we kind of like go through everything, and at the end, of course, you get to pretend like you're all sitting on council and you have to make decisions, and of course you're not going to have enough money to fund everything that you want to do. And so we want to know how do you make decisions? How did you prioritize things? So it's a fun little group exercise. And we had last year, it was, we called it date night because we had so many couples that came in. 2 years ago, we had groups like 3 different groups of people, so like 6 people who didn't know each other before the class and after. They've been playing the last 2 years. They've decided we really like each other, and now they play pickleball all the time. So it's really been a great way to meet new people too. So this is something we're really proud of. It's open to everybody. It's free. It's just, we do 2 hours in the spring on a Wednesday or Thursday. No, it's a Thursday now. 2 hours for 5 weeks. So we would love to have you come. And that application will be open here in the next week or 2. So that's what I've got for you tonight, unless I've missed something or there's something you're curious about.
Wonderful.
Let me just put an advertisement in for what's happening in comprehensive plans. If you want to know what's happening in a community, get involved with the comprehensive plan. Often residents wait till a project comes up for an open meeting, but by then, it's pretty much been decided. You can make minor changes, but if you want to make major changes, you have to get back involved with the comprehensive plan. and say, no, this should be a park, this should be something else.
Yeah, we always get a question. What people don't understand is that, why there's so many apartments, all you're building is apartments. And those decisions were made 20 years ago about where that density is going to be in our communities. And so we're required to take density in our communities. The state law requires it, the Met Council requires it. And so the local decision is, if we've got to take that density and we're required to do it, where does it belong? Where are we going to put that? And so that's where we lean in our community to say, this is where it makes the most sense to go, and why it's so important. So, but yes, when the things that are happening now are decisions that were made 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And those property owners are, I'll be blunt about it, I don't mean any disrespect by it, but they're cashing in on those promises that were made 20 years ago. If you said you thought your property was going to develop for commercial property and all of a sudden now it's park, you're not going to get as much for parkland as you are for commercial. And so that becomes very problematic. So, yeah. So it's really important for us, and we spend a lot of time and energy and many months and hours and making sure that our community is engaged in this process. So if you're interested in it, you're not a resident here, please think about getting involved in your own communities, because it's important work.
And the two largest future cities in Carver County are Victoria and Carver. So, because they have the most land available.
Yeah. We got a lot of growing to do. Any other questions for me? I took up a lot of time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you for having me. So, and if you have any questions or want any follow-up information, happy to share that. But thank you for having me here.
Very exciting to hear about all the wonderful things going on in Victoria.
Lots of changes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
for coming.
Take care.
Yes, you bet.
Patrick, I'm keeping your
Yeah,
nice.
I'll send
I'm
you,
going to share that
I'll
with
send
everyone.
you and Alyssa actual
Okay.
copy of it.
Perfect. Wonderful. Good night, everyone.
Thanks
Good night.
again.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay, so there are two action items that we actually can't take action on tonight, but they include, as is always done at the beginning of the calendar year, the election of a president and a secretary. And correct me if I'm wrong, is the foundation liaison also identified at the beginning of the year?
Yes. I should double check on that, but I
Okay.
think that would fall with that as well.
All right. Okay. So the election of officers will occur when we have a quorum next month. And then there's also an item called Program Incentive Increase Request. Do you mind just taking a minute to explain what that is so people know what we're going to be talking about next month?
Sure, absolutely. And then I just realized we should back up too, because we need to do the adult services team
Oh,
report.
all right, yes.
But,
Oh, yes, sorry about that.
so I don't know
Excuse
if,
me.
I can speak to this and then we can,
Well,
Yeah.
let's follow
Yeah.
the itinerary here.
Sorry
Hold
to
the
be-
thought, and sorry about that. Let's do adult services, a team update, because that's super important.
I'll be fast, because I know you guys can read. Through all of our programming this past year, we put together 374 programs, which amounts to 29,274 participants, which was a 38% increase. And that includes, we're really being thoughtful about how we program and listening to our community and doing a variety of different ways to get word out there for people to participate. So it's in-person, hybrid, and totally online programming. And when we get to this time of the year, we really try to do more online because people are less wanting to leave their warm homes and come to the library. So we try to offer a lot more online. And I don't know if you were able to tune in for our author visit last week with Chris Hine, who's a sports writer with the Star Tribune. In that first day alone, we had 500 views of that. So we're really trying to be thoughtful going forward. And in fact, that's one of our strategic goals for this coming year, is to really look at how we can best meet the needs of our communities. The only other thing that I'm going to really mention from this is right now our big thing, Winter Reads, is the summer reading for adults program. So if you haven't signed up, I suggest you do it, because we have these really cool incentives. They're headbands. They're very popular this year. For people like me, though, who don't have hair, it doesn't cover it up. But, I thought that these were really cool. And we have staff members who are drooling over these and want these too. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great report.
Thank you.
With great pictures and wonderful. Okay, so thank you very much. So the program incentive increase request, could you explain what that is?
Sure. So I think really, in a nutshell, it's that, so there's a threshold that incentives should really only be at the $5 maximum. And that really comes down from, really, actually, I think at the state level policy. But this allows us to, because of the fact that with rising costs for many things across the world, we're not always finding books or incentives that are at that $5 threshold. So giving us a little bit more flexibility and being able to average that out as well, so that we may come across, and Margot and Kevin might be able to speak to this more too, especially the youth services team. Like when we purchase, say, through Scholastic Literacy, there might be books that are as low as $2, but then, you know, they go up from there. So that gives the team, if I'm speaking to that correctly.
Yeah, if you've seen the cost of books, even just the cheapest of the paperbacks, it's really difficult to find anything for $5 that will be
I believe
of
that.
interest to kids in particular, because of colors and stuff that would go into that. So being able to provide an incentive that is actually an incentive is really important.
Could you give some examples, very common examples of when these incentives are applied and how they would be applied?
Sure. So this would be directly apply to the youth summer reading program when they do a, say, an activity sheet, and then they can come in and select a free book to take home with them. So those carts that are full of wonderful book choices, well, that's what we aim for, valuable, you know, reward reading with reading. And so that would be just one example where.
Sure, it's a reward for the effort made with filling out the youth activity sheet.
Right, and
Okay.
to obviously continue to encourage them to continue reading, and then to have that incentive of this is, I have that ownership,
Sure.
that they have that to take home with them.
Okay.
And then with, you know, sometimes with our teens and adults, we will reward, say, with a bookstore gift card, like
yeah.
to Barnes and Noble or to a
Target or something where
where they
yeah, they
could,
can find stuff.
where they're encouraged to purchase reading materials with those.
Sarah, have you seen anything like that?
Yeah, I've done the summer reading program, and it usually has like a bingo card of I've read a book before the movie comes out, or you know, something like that. And then when you finish that, write my information on the back, get a book. Last year I think I got The Hunger Games, and then I read it afterwards, so pretty great. And you could not get that for $5.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
It's the deal of the century.
Yeah.
Deal of the century.
So, yeah, definitely huge incentive, at least for me. It makes me fill out the form so then I can get my book.
Sure.
Very nice.
And the incentives are primarily supported by the foundation.
Okay,
The library
that was my next
foundation.
question.
Yes, sorry, we should note that as well, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
it's not part of the operating budget.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
How much is spent typically?
For winter reads, I think we're planning on $600 worth of gift cards. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the youth services, because they buy hundreds of books for that.
And I want to say for the summer reading program, but this wouldn't just be for incentives, this could be put towards programming as well, but the foundation, I believe, can donate up to $7,000 a year, or typically that's been the ask. So,
We could give gift certificates to library book sales.
and we have done that as well.
We're doing that
Yeah.
right now. That's one of the sign-up incentives for winter reads.
Good thinking.
Okay, so we'll be hearing more about that next month. So is there a concrete numerical request that will be made? I mean, how much do you want to raise that cap? Do you know?
I think we're just asking that we may go up to that cost individually per item of $25.
$25, all right.
That's what
Okay.
we decided or recommended as a team that would
Yeah,
be.
which is far more than the historical $5 maximum.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we'll have more discussion about that next month, but that gives the board members here some time to process that and think about it. Yep. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, is there any unfinished and new business on the docket? I'm not aware of any.
I'm not either, I guess unless I would put a plug here for the upcoming Library Legislative Day has been set.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
Through Minnesota Library Association, and that's
Yes.
been set as Wednesday, February 25th.
Oh, all right.
So I
Okay.
recently learned of that date. And I would welcome anyone that would like to join myself, and Commissioner Anderson is also planning to attend this year.
Great.
You'd be welcome to attend. Susan Blatz will be working on setting up appointments with legislators, and we usually go early and hit the pavement.
Oh, yeah.
Wear
no.
good walking shoes.
I did this last year, and it was really, it was quite an experience. It was great to talk with the legislators, and it was heartening to learn of their interest in the library system, that they're not disengaged. They actually are all very supportive. So I would like to do it again,
Wonderful.
so
wonderful.
count me in.
And if anyone else has interest or would like to, just feel free to reach out to me
Okay.
directly, and we can make sure to include you as well.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9 o'clock. We show up early, and then typically it's over by 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we'll try to get as many appointments within that time frame as we
Yeah.
can.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And we'll see other colleagues from across the metro, and there's a gathering area in the Capitol where there are some other, like Minitex usually has a presence there, a table, and some other organizations. So there's a few other things that get tied into the day as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. February 25.
Yeah.
Well, it is time for administrative reports, and thank you as always, Jody, for writing up the executive summary and the report. So if you'd like to go ahead and.
Sure. So executive summary is to be coming in February.
Yes, sorry. Right.
And this is coming from a request of this group, I would say, at our last meeting, as well as Commissioner Anderson, wanting to, instead of having many, many pages of line-by-line budget, really trying to roll it up into larger categories and provide more of a dashboard of sorts. That's probably not the right word, but essentially looking at more of a 1 or 2 page at the most. So I was able to meet with her last week to gather some insight, and I'll be meeting with our finance accountant and finance director to see what we can come up with that would benefit this group. But I would welcome, you know, whether it's today or if you have thoughts in between, you certainly can reach out and let me know. But it'd be more, you know, really rolling up all the payroll into one line item, you know, just really trying to bundle things into broader categories in that regard. So that is to be coming in February, if that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, that's great.
In terms of the budget right now, really, we're just obviously launching into 2026, 2025. We're just doing any outstanding budget amendments or journal entries to make sure things are settling in where they need to. Everything looks really good so far. That process really to finalize the 2025 budget won't really wrap up truly until the beginning of March. And some of it is making sure we roll over Dalkey money, so there's budget amendments and pieces that correlate with some of that work as well. So I don't know if you have any general questions or thoughts, but that's where we're at.
Well,
Yep.
the preparation of the executive summary will be greatly appreciated. We can still access the microdata if we
Yes,
want.
absolutely.
But when you're plowing through the microdata, which admittedly can be just a little cumbersome because of just the way it's presented. I don't want to be a whiner, but it is.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's sometimes it's sometimes challenging to keep an eye on the forest and not always focus on the trees. So I think that'll be great as far as being able to get a synopsis.
Excellent, great. But yes, you can always have access to the full report, and so we can keep
Great.
in touch about that too,
Great.
as needed, for
As
certain.
far as the state of the budget now, there are no big flashing lights or warnings that you need to share with us.
Not other than what I had included, you know, in my
The
director's
director's
report,
report,
just
sure.
as the final budget approval. You know, obviously the big, I don't want to call it a big red flashing light though, was the reduction of 1.5 FTE for us. Obviously that's you know, the big concern there, but we are adjusting to that, and we are in the process of the vacancies that we were able to start filling are in process. So the Chaska half-time library assistant, we have someone starting at the end of January in that position. The Western Branch's full-time adult services librarian, that application process just closed last Friday, and we received applications to review this week. So that is moving forward. And then we just put in the requisitions for the other 2 half-time library assistants in the West. So those,
Nice.
so that's the good news piece, that those
Yeah.
are all moving forward.
What's the FTE on the Western Branch's Adult Services Librarian?
I'm sorry, I didn't include that, did I? It's a 1.0, it's a
1.0,
full-time.
okay,
Yes.
it's a full-time
Yep, I meant
position,
to.
which brings benefits. And then the 2 Western .5 library assistant positions, just out of curiosity, was there ever a conversation about consolidating those so you would have a roving person? Doing that would of course open up the need for benefits, but it also would have very positive implications for the applicant pool.
I would say yes, there was conversation, has been, like that is the direction we would ultimately like to go, but
Okay.
because of the cost factor with benefits.
Yeah, and a different
in-
salary structure once you go from kind of part-time adjunct, if you will, up to full-time. That, yeah.
That's a
It-
big jump.
It's a big jump in
yes.
costing, so
Yes, you're going from hourly to salary, correct?
it would still be hourly.
Still be hourly?
Right, but
Yeah.
again, that cost factor is still
Benefits are-
significant.
Yeah,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm,
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, maybe
Yep.
someday, as the budget improves, maybe we could be looking at consolidating those 2.
So we have a full-time library assistant in Chanhassen. We have a full-time library assistant in Chaska, so we'd like to model that in the west as well and have
Okay.
at least one full-time out in the west.
Yeah.
Definitely see value in that, so.
Oh, good.
Otherwise, for my director's report, I'll just highlight a couple of other items. I shared, and I'm not going to read all these, but all the wonderful 2025 highlights despite staffing challenges and some changes along the way. I do want to acknowledge the great things that have been happening by sharing these highlights. I think an acknowledgement to staff for the work that they've been doing. Such a creative, passionate staff, and the work that they do for our communities. And thanks to Patrick and Kevin and Margot for continuing to motivate and empower their staff to do this great work. So I just wanted to, I guess, publicly acknowledge that with all of you.
Well, it's really impressive, all the different events and activities and guests that you've been able to bring in across the branches, despite what is a very difficult time budgetary-wise. So
Exactly.
really kudos to the system for offering so many opportunities for the community to engage.
I think an important piece, I mean, there's so many programming highlights here, but our collection is such a foundational, obviously, piece of what we do. So to Patrick and the collection team for the work that they do, and I think that patrons, that's one of the things that we hear from patrons, and obviously with extended access, that's what they're coming in for. They're
Yeah.
here to check out books, so I think that really speaks volumes, no pun intended as well. So. I would note that so speaking of extended access, we are in conversations with Norwood Young America to have that be our next location that we will launch extended access. We're aiming for by June 1st of this year. We'll be going to the city council meeting out there on Monday night, the 26th, yes, to give them an overview and an opportunity to just engage with us and ask questions. But we've had great conversations with the city staff, and I just met with Commissioner Fahey. That's part of his district, and just very supportive and excited to bring that service to Norwood Young America. So
That's good.
I don't know if you all have questions about any of that or anything really else in the report.
So in thinking about the implementation of extended access at Victoria, and now it looks like Norwood Young America, which is very, very encouraging. What do we know in the literature about the relationship between population density of the area served and the introduction of extended access? And for example, is extended access, does it tend to be offered more frequently and earlier in more rural areas than in urban areas?
More rural.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
Hennepin County doesn't have any, and
That's
Ramsey
what I
County
thought.
doesn't have any.
Yeah.
And it was Dakota and Scott were the further away, even less suburban branches that did it.
Right, okay. So it's really not a surprise that we're seeing this being implemented in lower population density
Yeah.
areas, okay.
Except Victoria is a very wealthy community.
Right.
And I'm guessing they have better access to Wi-Fi than places like Watertown,
Yeah,
and probably Norwood, Young America as well. So I would think that might do better in the western part of the county than Victoria.
And that site is attached to senior living. So there's a built-in audience right upstairs.
of course, yeah.
But one of the big things is Wi-Fi. I
Right.
mean, the western part has less access to Wi-Fi and probably a lower family wealth.
Yeah. When we did the survey, when I wrote the LSTA grant for hotspots, that's exactly what we looked at. We looked at each community, Wi-Fi access to broadband, and those two were the lowest. And then Chaska was the third.
Okay, interesting. Well, then, under the Minnesota paid leave piece, and this is happening in so many states, it's just, what do you have any concerns about, the budgetary implications for the system because of this?
More so, I think that if we have more staff that end up utilizing this Minnesota paid leave, where, does that indicate we will need to use more of our sub-budget to fill those, those hours at the desk? I think that's one concern that comes to mind. I don't know, Patrick or Kevin, if you have others, but.
That's going to be it. If people are gone, someone has to cover.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Well, the other thing that might matter is who takes leave. I mean, some people work there and some people are very critical to the workings of a library or any kind of business. So some of those, it could be very difficult to fill in.
Right.
So I think time will tell as we move forward.
Right. And you're doing annual performance evaluations, and does
Correct.
everyone get evaluated, including the part-time folks? Everybody? Okay. And the same evaluation template used for everybody?
Except for managers.
Except for managers, there's a different structure there.
Well, only one different item, but the other four it's a competency-based evaluation.
All right.
So there's 4 competencies across all job classes, and then managers get a leadership competency.
Got it. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So certainly encouraging to see a conference budget still created. My experience has been that conference budgets are often the first to go when you're facing draconian budgetary conditions. And
Sure.
so I think it's wonderful that there's still some funding being carved out to support people going to these professional development events because they are key.
Especially since we have the Public Library Association meeting in Minneapolis this year.
I know, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, could you explain the difference between levy-funded and MELSA-funded for some of these pieces? Does that mean that those particular items are not funded by our internal operating budget? Are there external pots being used here, or what?
So the MELSA funded, so that is coming from regional library funding.
That's what I thought, okay, yeah.
And so we receive that on an annual basis. We've been seeing typically, I just got the final numbers, it's just a little, I think it's closer to 17,500 for the upcoming year, but
Okay.
it's been settling around 17,000. And we really have the flexibility to use that as we see fit within our own system. So whether it can, obviously can go towards national conferences, it could go towards an all-staff speaker, it can go to, individual webinars.
Professional development.
Exactly,
focused on that,
exactly.
yeah.
And MELSA, there are some parameters, but MELSA we do not have to go to MELSA for like approval of every individual item. It's really up to the system's discretion. Yep.
Okay, and levy funded, could you explain what that means?
Yes, so that's coming through the county's budget.
Okay,
And being approved as part of that. They do include as a line item, and that's why it's shown here. And if you would look at the larger budget package, they include that MELSA line item in there
Okay.
as revenue coming in
That's
for
what I
us to
thought.
utilize.
That's what I
Mhm.
thought.
Yep, does that make sense?
Yes,
Mhm.
thank you,
Mhm.
thank you.
Now, MELSA is funded by the state. So if there are major changes to the state budget, MELSA funding could go up or down.
Correct. Mhm.
Okay, anything else?
I mean, just to note that the long-term financial plan that was reported at the county board does include funding to go towards the new Chaska Library being potentially constructed in 2028 and opening in 2029. Obviously, the construction of the actual, I probably misspoke how I wrote that, but, you know, obviously, City of Chaska funds the actual physical structure, the building itself, and the maintenance that goes along with that. And then the county would support anything within that space, shelving, collection, furniture, technology, obviously the staffing. So that does continue to move forward at both the City of Chaska council, as well as it is included in our long-term financial plan right now, so.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much,
Yes,
Jody.
thank you.
Always appreciate your detailed reports.
Well, that was about, I tried to, you know, fit 2 months of things worth.
That's a lot, yeah, there's a lot.
So there you go.
Division Director report.
No updates
No
at this
updates.
time.
Okay,
Mhm.
very
If
good.
you ever would like him to attend a board meeting for any county updates, we could look to scheduling him for that, so. Can,
Certainly, how do the other board members feel about that?
I'd be open to it.
Yeah, I certainly would be too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll talk with him about
What's
that.
all included
Yep.
in the division?
Oh, gosh, so.
Is it the state or is it?
So our division is Public Services Division.
Okay.
And so it's facilities, IT, the library, communications, that'd be county communications.
Health and Human Services, right?
All the
Yeah,
trouble spots.
yeah.
Great.
Well, they're separate, yeah, it's,
It's under the
Okay.
public,
yeah.
Okay, I was thinking.
Well,
Many.
that's good to know. Well, we can bring you more information about that, definitely.
I was thinking like 8 counties or something.
Oh,
something
sure,
like that.
sure. No, it's a, like, we're Public Services Division within the
Oh,
county, if we
okay.
say division.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So, moving to item 8, I have never understood the language and the structure of this. So I want to hear your report about Chanhassen Victoria Libraries. So what is supposed to take place with item 8, Jody?
So that essentially is, as branch manager Patrick, for that,
That's what I
those
thought.
communities would report. So we can
Yeah.
note that differently. It's just, that's
That's
Wendy's
who's.
representing.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So it's not like Wendy has to do her homework
No,
and
I
get a
saw that and
PowerPoint
I
slide.
went, the first time I saw that, I went, I don't know what to report.
It is that the responsible branch manager for your jurisdiction
Yes.
will
Thank you.
report. Okay, that's never been 100% clear. Well, then why don't we get the reports from the different jurisdictions over which the board members are responsible?
There we go.
On Chanhassen, Victoria, I want to point out 4 things. On page 1 of the report, we had a very successful author visit. Cal Kaylee Yang, who won 3 Minnesota Book Awards last year, so she not only agreed to come visit us, we had about 100 people in the room. That was the most successful, one of the most successful things that Chanhassen this year. Underneath that is a picture of the Friends of the Victoria Library book sale, which was the best book sale they've ever done. They raised about $350. On page 3 of my report is another program we've done with the Chanhassen Communities of Belonging. This is a partnership that Linnea Fonest, our adult services librarian, has really nurtured, from them having a meeting in the library 2.5 years ago to us doing twice monthly meetings with them. So they often supply the speaker, they supply the promotion, we supply the room and also help them promote it. And then the last things on page 5 go together. We are ending our Victoria Express library. That's one of the 4 express libraries. And the reason we ended that is because of the extended access. So people who used to be able to only get into the library by going to Victoria Express at 7 a.m. could now sign up for extended access to pick up their holds. What is interesting is when people register for extended access, one of the questions they get asked is, what is your current library? And only 3 of them have been Victoria Express. Mm-hmm. So these people have decided not to use extended access, but it's based on circulation statistics, seem to just have gone to use regular library hours. Then the last one, I guess I had 5, is page 6. I think Kevin probably has a picture of this as well, is the libraries all do a New Year's Eve day celebration. And so this, we also call it the cleaner's nightmare. That's what we did. Thank you.
How are we doing with our great decisions?
Really good.
The head count of those things.
20 to 25,
Okay.
everyone. We got
All right.
we got 4 of them booked for the spring. Our biggest issue in great decisions has not been getting an audience, but getting these speakers to do what we asked them to do. There's been a little bit too much talking and not enough listening. How these things were billed to us is 25 minutes of presentation, here's what you need to know, and then 25 minutes of the community having a chance to discuss it. And it's just been a little more one-sided than we wanted it. So what we're doing in the next round is we're putting up the room in tables like this. So rather than setting up theater style, which lends itself to more of a, I have a question, and we're going to set it up for it so it's set up for small group discussion.
Okay. So are the speakers that are coming in, do they have an over tendency to lecture?
I think they know so much about the topic.
Yeah.
And they do involve the audience, but it's more a traditional question and answer. And we really want people to use their, as adult learners, their adult
Yes.
learning skills to have more conversations with each other.
And so does the speaker then transition into sort of a more quiet facilitative role,
That's what's
circulating
supposed-
around to
that's
the
what's supposed to
clusters
happen,
of,
yes.
okay. All right.
Yeah. And we've worked, actually the person who is one of the Great Decision Program officers lives in Chan.
Mm-hmm.
So she came to the last one, she heard our concerns, and she's working with the presenters to make sure that it delivers a little bit more what we think we're paying for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we've discussed before, I mean, Great Decisions is a national brand.
Yes.
And so essentially we have a chapter here.
Yes.
And so we have this national brand and national infrastructure to draw upon.
Yeah.
And that leads me to the next question is, are we feeding people? Are we giving them hot drinks?
No.
Do we have, and if we are, where's the budget coming from?
We don't do that
Okay.
we just don't do that at our programs.
Got it.
We just don't
Yeah.
supply food and beverages.
Right.
That would end up taxing usually the Friends of the Library.
Yeah, that should
because
pay for it, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because county funds won't go towards that.
I understand. Also, what are the speakers doing this gratis? Or
No,
are
no,
they getting
get
an
$250.
honorarium?
They
They're
get
getting a $250 honorarium.
Which the Friends of the Library love to pick up.
Okay.
It's one of their favorite programs.
All right, very good. You know, Jim, I gather that you've been involved in Great Decisions. Or have you
I
not?
believe so. I haven't gone in a few years, but
All right.
Well, we got rid of it. When I first started, we were down to like 6 people. And we were asking these professors to drive from St. Paul to talk to 6 people.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
so it wasn't
that's-
worth the money we were paying them, but even more, as I talked with the Adult Services Mara, I said, I think this makes us look bad.
It's
And people are
embarrassing.
not going, and Global Minnesota is not going to want to work with us unless we can deliver.
Yeah.
So it went away, lockdown happened, and then the Friends of the Library said, we really want you to bring this back. And so I said, then you have to help us promote it. And again, we don't want 50 people. This is one of those, if we had 50 people, to me, that would not be good. Because
Yeah.
how are you going to have a small group discussion with 50 people?
So the,
25 to 30 is the sweet
That's
spot, and we're
okay.
hitting it every time.
right, and that's kind of that's kind of the traditional great decisions
Yeah.
model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what's been going on at Shannon Vet.
Wonderful. Thank you for enlightening me on great
Yeah,
decisions.
sure.
I mean, I think that, I think we would all agree that there are a lot of interesting issues going on in this country and in the world, and there's lots to talk about these
Yes.
days. So, sure, plenty of content for these great decisions sessions. So. And my jurisdiction, Chaska.
Go.
Report.
I'll just highlight a couple things.
Sure.
First, Carrie from my staff and Melissa from Patrick's staff went to Chaska High School and ended up interacting with over 200 kids talking about library services, which was amazing.
And then Thursday, they're going to Chan.
Yes. Hometown Holiday is the first Saturday of every December, and it's always a really busy day for us because the Friends of the Library have a book sale, which has been more and more successful every time they've done that, and the Flute Loops performed, and we had a craft, so it was a very busy day for us that day. And something that I forgot to mention in my report is in August, we started up notarization services at the library. All the librarians are trained for this. We offer it for free and after hours. So we're busy usually starting at 5 and going to 8. We had 67 people take advantage of our service.
That's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
And it's only going to grow because now word is out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wonderful. So pleased to hear of the deep level of engagement with the students at the high school. 200.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
It is.
And the rumor that the new library in Chaska is going to be a teepee. Is that true?
It's already there, Jim. We're ready.
Well, that's great.
Okay, and as far as reports on the Norwood Young American Library, Laconia and Watertown Libraries,
I think the report speaks for itself from Margot, but a couple things I'll note, obviously similar, great fun on New Year's Eve, I should say. But on the back, she made note that the book drop at Watertown was damaged by a snowplow, which is not the first of book drops to have that happen. So we're working on a replacement. It's supposed to be shipped next week, I believe, and then our facilities will get that installed and ready to be up and running again. So
okay, happens.
I'm glad it was a snowplow and not some kids doing damage to something.
Yeah.
exactly. So,
If it had to happen.
and there's a book drop that is eventually coming to Chanhassen as well.
Yep.
An outdoor
Oh, okay.
That's right.
different offering. So that will be in the works as well, and yeah.
All right. And then Stacy's report on the Library Foundation it will take place next month.
Sure,
Okay,
yes. We
very
did have a
good.
meeting last week, just kind of starting up for the year, so she can relay, a message about that. But no, just a good kind of organizational meeting for that group to talk about the year ahead and fundraising ideas, engagement, promotion, marketing, and elect new officers as well. So, We met
Okay.
virtually, it was I think one of the dark rainy nights last week, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
very good. And Sarah, anything on Dalkey? It's been 2 months since we all convened. Do you have anything to report on that? I presume nothing's been happening.
Not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
no.
The county board gave final approval to the application that our group approved, and this group did as well for the Vox recorded books.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
that
Nice.
project will be moving forward as we move into
Oh, good.
2026, which
That's
is really exciting. I heard from, when I was at a MELSA directors meeting last week, there was a couple of other systems that have implemented Vox books, and they're just a really, really popular,
Good program.
important piece that they've introduced. So
Nice.
I think that's really exciting for our system.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I believe that concludes this evening's agenda. There's nothing further that is scheduled to be discussed. Would anyone like to, are there any final questions or final comments? Anything that you thought, oh gosh, we should talk about this, or I forgot to say that? Okay, so our next meeting will be held in
City of Carver.
City of Carver. Okay, same time, second Tuesday. We will have a bunch of things that we have to do. We will have backed up things from today's agenda that we need to take action on. We will have some new board members, and there will be new action items that will pop up that we have to take care of. So fasten your seatbelts. There'll be plenty to do next month. But
Keep it moving.
keep it moving, absolutely. But in the meantime, thank you all for attending. Thank you, the three of you, for your always great work. And have a good evening, and then we'll see you next month.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good meeting.